Let me begin by just saying happy birthday, Herman. I know it's not quite the official day yet, but wow, 100 years. Happy birthday to you, sir.
Well, thank you. And I've had a lot of publicity already. I'm getting cards in the mail from relatives that I've never even met. In one case, a note was added to explain how we're related.
Well, what is it? What does it feel like to be approaching the 100 mark?
Well, I've had a number of friends that have phoned to see how I was doing in the middle of all this pandemic and the interruption to our usual society. And my quick answer is, I'm living just like I was anyway. It hadn't made any difference to me.
Well, you've certainly lived quite a life and seen so much, I'm sure, over the years, and so well respected among the family here at the Homewood Church. And you've had just a beautiful, wonderful marriage to Becky. You served in World War II, and that is an amazing historical reminder for us all. And so I was just wanting to take a moment as you approach this another marker in life, just to share maybe any words of encouragement or words of wisdom with our church family.
Well, I don't have a quick response for that one. I don't know that I have that much wisdom. And I'd be glad to offer encouragement, but I'm not sure where to go from that anyway. But I will add this description or comment. I haven't finished what I have in mind, but I've been working on the idea of writing some of my memories, particularly that are related to the Homewood congregation and my association with the missions committee. And when I get that written, it will have a lot of things that go pretty far back in history. And I'll give it enough circulation that anybody that's interested might be able to see it.
Well, that would be very much appreciated. And I know that you had always had a heart for that ministry, and so it would certainly be something that we would enjoy seeing. And when did you start worshiping at Homewood, Herman?
In 1973, my employment brought me to Birmingham in that year. And I had a coworker who had already been member at Homewood for a few years. And he saw to it that I got to Homewood. In fact, I've made this comment about him. His name was Jack Nobles. And I have commented that I never thought of Jack as a church leader, but he probably invited more people to attend the Homewood services than anybody else ever has. And I remember other people that became members because he invited them.
Well, and now you came to Homewood in 1973, but that wasn't your original home. Where was home for you originally?
Well, I grew up in a rural area in Tennessee and lived a number of places before I got to Birmingham, but I came to Birmingham from Maryville, Tennessee, near Knoxville. And here again, my employment had dictated where I was.
Well, I'm always intrigued to hear your time that you served in the military. Can you tell us just what led you into military service? What was it that was the spark for you to enter into that journey?
Well, several things I can comment in that context. I was the right age. My draft number was just coming up. I knew I was going to be drafted, but I had always been interested in flying. So I volunteered for military flight training, and my reporting date from that was almost identical to what I would have been drafted anyway. Anyway, long story about why I was interested in aviation, but it had always been a dream I wanted to fly. Now then, I didn't have any ambition to shoot at people. That wasn't part of it. I just wanted to fly airplanes. But I ended up having to do some shooting anyway.
Well, it would be hard to ask you the question, what would be your fondest memory of World War II? That's not a appropriate question, but what would be what is a memory that you have during that very challenging time period in our history?
Well, the best memories of that period are probably some of the people that I associated with. Some of them were, well, some of them ended up with really fantastic military careers because they stayed in the service after the war, which I chose not to do.
So you spent quite a bit of time in an airplane during those years. Is that correct?
That was my primary activity in the military, was operating airplanes.
Well, as you look back over the course of just a century of life, and that's it's hard, I'm sure, for you to even think about all the things that God has shown you and done over the course of a century. But if you're just to think about God's provision in your life and the way that you have followed him all these years, when did you come to know the Lord, Herman?
I was baptized when I was 12 years old in a swimming hole in an open stream in Viola, Viola, Tennessee.
Wow. So if I do my math correctly, that was about 88 years ago.
That's right.
Wow. Well, and then you met a beautiful young lady, and I've had the privilege of getting to meet Miss Becky. And what year were you two married?
In October of 44, very shortly after I returned from foreign military duty.
Well, she had one of the sweetest dispositions that I had the privilege of getting to know, and I remember very fondly her and you coming in and holding hands and sitting in service, and you were a great inspiration for all of us younger married folks. And how many years were you two married?
72.
72
years. Well into the 73rd year when she passed.
Wow. Well, just if I've never told you that in person, I want you to know now that you two were always a great inspiration to Laney and I.
Well, while we're talking about Becky and thinking about earlier times, let me tell you how I first met her. I was on the Lipscomb campus on what was designated at that time Alumni Day. And this was the next year after I had graduated from Lipscomb when it was a junior college. And given that circumstance in the background, I was looking for people to visit with that I had previously known. So I was talking with one of my former classmates who had been a close friend when Becky kept butting into the conversation. And Becky always liked to sing. She had taken voice lessons and she was a good singer. But the previous evening to the occasion I'm describing, she had attended a meeting where some of these former singers of Lipscomb were having a get together. And so she had met the gentleman that I was trying to talk to. So she knew him for about 12 hours before this conversation. And I'm trying to renew old acquaintances with him, and she kept butting into the conversation. So the first words I ever spoke to her, I turned to her and I says, "I bet you a nickel you can't be quiet for 5 minutes." That was the first thing I ever said to her. And believe it or not, she married me later.
So you don't recommend that to younger folks for a pickup line, huh?
That's not the proper response.
Well, very, very special indeed. Well, Herman, it's a blessing to visit with you, and just the way that you've been an encouragement to so many for so many years, and I know that you've seen the Lord's work in your life and in the life of our church family for so many years, and for that we're just grateful to be able to celebrate this milestone in your life, and knowing that that God be praised for the 100 years that He's allowed you to be with us here on this earth.
Well, in the context of your current remarks and where the Lord has fit into all of this, I remember my parents telling me after I returned from foreign duty in the war how they had prayed for me. And after I heard them make that comment, I remembered numerous close calls I had, many of them so close I wondered why I was missed. And I'm convinced to this day it's because my parents were praying for me.
Well, there's a beautiful thing about being covered in prayer. Absolutely. So, well, Herman, thank you for your time. It has, again, just been a joy to see your face and visit with you. And during these strange times, it's still so good to just see you, even if it is on a computer screen. So thank you for your time.